Hello and welcome back to One-on-One Sports' first spring webcast episode. I'm your host, Connor Del Preet, and I am joined by our NCAA men's basketball experts, Thomas Hale and Alex Afori, to discuss a preview of what is bound to be an exciting March Madness. So let's start it off. Joe Lunardi has recently released his latest ESPN bracketology. The first four teams out are Stanford, Davidson, Tulsa, and Boise State. So in your opinion, which of these four teams has the best chance of making the field of 68 and making some noise in March, Thomas?
I like Davidson.
You like Davidson?
I think Davidson's getting in. They're on a 5-game win streak right now. Rest of the season's looking pretty easy for them. Their toughest game is definitely VCU. I believe they're 21st, 22nd overall right now. But besides that, the rest of the way they got, I think they're going to do well. Tyler Kalinowski's doing really well, dropping about 16 points a game. I think they're looking good.
Yeah, Davidson's definitely hot, but I'm not too sure about their defense. Seems a little shaky to me, and I'm not too sure really about any quality wins they have on their schedule. I'm going to go with Stanford. They have two top wins against teams in Washington State, who was top 25 at the time, and Texas. And they also have a very balanced scoring attack. They got three guys averaging 13-plus points a game, led by Chas and Randall at almost 20. And they're also a really good rebounding team, got a plus 11.6 rebounding margin. So I think their rebounding defense can definitely cause a lot of problems for teams going forward and even going into the tournament as well.
You know, I'm going to have to go with Alex on this one. I think Stanford is also, this is a program that beat Kansas last year in the NCAA tournament. It's a Johnny Dawkins-led team. This is a team that has a chance every year to make it far into the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to go with Stanford. But Lunardi also predicted the last four teams in to be NC State, Illinois, UCLA, and Oregon. So Alex, I'm going to start with you. Which of these four teams do you currently will not make the field of 68?
I'm going to go with UCLA. They just haven't really impressed me. I mean, they've been beaten badly by some of the top teams they played. You have the loss to Kentucky by almost 40 points. UNC and Arizona, they lost. In Utah, they lost to by 22 points. And I just think they haven't really been impressive. They don't have any great wins, and they're barely over 500 in their own conference play at 8-7 right now. I just don't really see them coming up. And at the end of their schedule, there aren't really any quality teams in there. The only real way they can prove themselves is by blowing those teams out, and I'm not quite sure they can do that.
I definitely agree with you, but I'm going to go with NC State. NC State's won some big games this season, I'm not going to lie, but I just don't think they've got it for the rest of the year. They've got a bunch of tough games coming up. They've got to play UNC next. UNC's hot. I don't see them losing anytime soon. Also got to play Boston College and Syracuse, who they're not as good as at UNC, obviously, but I think they can surprise them. If they can stick through, then they'll make it, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to go with Thomas on this one. NC State plays in the ACC. They're going to have tough games day in and day out, and that's going to look bad for the community if they keep losing when they play a team like UNC and even a team like Syracuse, who still is going to play hard even though they can't make the tournament. But in your opinion, as we know, there's a very balanced top 25 outside the power 4 or 5 teams. So which team currently outside the top 10 has the best chance of making a run at the national championship? Thomas?
I think UNC. I'm going to pick it up where I left it off. Like I said, they're hot. Their offense is up-tempo. I don't see anyone can stop them right now. They're also a top 5 rebounding team in the league, and then you know what they say, rebounds win games.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree with Thomas. I mean, UNC, you saw the game against Duke. Yes, they lost that game, but when they play like that, they show they can really hang with and really beat any team in the nation as long as they're at their top level. I mean, they've got a top offense. They're #1 in assists, and their rebounding margin is ridiculous. They're about almost plus 17. So they're dominating on the boards, and when you're beating people on the boards like that, it's really hard to lose.
Hey, you know, I have no arguments here. I think UNC is a great team. When you have guys like Marcus Page, JP Tokido, Kennedy Meeks playing at their top levels, you can beat any team in the nation. But as we all want to know, your early predictions for the Final Four and who wins it all. So quickly, give me your Final Four, and then go more in depth to why you think one team will win it all.
Okay.
Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so mine, I have Kentucky, Virginia, Wisconsin, and UNC. And I'm going to go with Kentucky winning it all because I just think their defense is too great. Yeah, their offense can be a little inconsistent, but they have arguably the best defense in college basketball history.
Up buckets.
And yeah, exactly. And at that point, you don't really have to score much, and I just can't see anyone getting enough against them to get that edge. And Calipari's been there before, leading these young teams not only to the Final Four, but even to that championship.
Okay. I definitely agree with that. Kentucky's in my Final Four. I've also got UVA in there, but then I've got Duke and Kansas, and I think Duke can beat Kentucky. I think they're the only team that can put up any competition against them, so I'm picking them to win it all this year.
My thing with Duke is they often sort of bow out early, and even if they don't, I mean, you look at it, without Rashad Suleiman, they lost a lot of their depth. They only have really 8 rotation players. Okay. I think that depth could really hurt them.
Yeah, I have to disagree.
Yeah, you have to disagree there. I think it's tough to choose between these two teams. I think they'll both meet in the finals because Kentucky, as you said before, they're unstoppable at this point. Duke, on the other hand, has experienced games without Jahlil Okafor. They beat Clemson by 30 points the other day without Jahlil Okafor. Right. It's tough to beat a team that can play without one of their superstars like that. But we'll have to see come March Madness. But, you know, it was good talking about it while we were here. Sadly, that is all the time we have for this week's edition of One-on-One Sports Webcasts. If you missed anything from today's show or just want to watch it again, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/oneonOnesports. Also, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at One-on-One Sports. For all of us here at One-on-One Sports, thank you for tuning in, and as always, whose side are you on?